Hey guys, Domino here. Just wanted to show you guys a little gun cleaning video. I got a new toy. Got myself a second G&G G26. There they are. This is the old one. This is the new one. I noticed when I first got the gun that it had quite a bit of what we would call China grease left inside of it, so I figured I would give it a clean today. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do when you clean any sort of Glock is to take your slide off. And that's done by simply pressing these knobs down on either side of the gun, racking it back, and hopefully having it come off the front. Seems my fingers were a little slippy. Alright, so the slide of the gun is where all the important stuff is. Your barrel, your hop up, all the good stuff. So as you can see on this one, it's pretty clean. I haven't cleaned it since the last game day, so I decided I'd do both of them today. However, when I open up this one, might be hard to tell on camera, but you can see the grease on the springs there. It's in the slide a bit. Probably most of the gun's been lubed this way, so I decided why not give it a good thorough cleaning before I test it out in the field this week. First thing you're going to want to do is disengage your spring here. Press it down, and it pops out. Yeah, as you can see, it's pretty greasy on there. Okay, the next thing you're going to want to do is pull your slide forward and remove your barrel. Carefully as to not touch your hop up. You don't want to mess with that unless you know what it was set to. Okay, so we'll place that there as well. So the important thing when you're cleaning these guns obviously is moving parts, your rails, some of the O-rings inside this chamber. There's one right in there that everybody forgets about. And this barrel as well. A lot of people forget about the barrel, they just don't think about it, but that's one of the things that moves around the most on these guns actually. The compensator barrel. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do, get yourself a rag. Anything that doesn't have a whole lot of little fuzz and stuff like that, that's going to get on it. I've just used some old shirt material here. So you're going to take your fabric, get some silicone oil, or gun oil happens to be the brand that I have here. And what I like to do is give it a good little spray on there. And then you're just going to give everything a nice wipe down to begin with. And this kind of gets out a lot of the grease, the old grease if you have it, or the dirt that's in there from the previous game or whatever. And gives everything a nice coating of silicone oil as well. As you can see already, there's quite a bit of grease on the rag. Give it a little bit more on there. the outside of this barrel and reach inside as far as you can, pretty much. It's kind of tricky to get at, but it's an important area. So once you've got all the slide cleaned up like that, go ahead and flip it over, give it a little bit more silicone if you need it. It's all gonna get cleaned up at the end anyways. You need to take the base of your gun, and oh yeah, you can really see it on that stuff. All that glare and goop in there, yeah, that's no good. It's called China grease because they just kind of load the guns up full of grease before they ship them out, and you're really meant to clean it when you get your guns. It works, but not the best. It's not the best thing for your guns. It's not a good lubricant compared to a silicone wipe or a proper gun grease. Alright, that's looking much better. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do is, it doesn't really matter which one you start with. I'll start with the base since I already have it in my hands. Take your silicone oil and you give it a good dose of silicone everywhere. Everywhere that moves looks like it moves. The hammer, all of it. Especially the rails. These guns have full auto capabilities, so if that's what you choose to use, you're going to be putting a lot more recoil into this thing. So once you've given it a good silicone bath, take your rag, take one of the dry sides, just give it a light wipe down. You want to leave most of it on there, but not all of it. Alright, that looks much better. Now, if this is the first time that you're getting a gun, or first time you're taking it apart, especially on these fully automatic pistols, I find that sometimes the force of the gun will loosen up some screws, and you don't want that. So it's important to just take the time and check your screws, make sure those two usually don't get loosened. The main ones that do are this one here, which, as you can see, turned a little bit there, and these two at the base of the compensator there, which I know are loose on mine. Yeah, they're a little bit loose, so just give them a quick turn with the Allen key. You don't want them to be too tight, but tight enough. Alright, so we're going to do the same thing with the top rail here. And take a bunch of silicone oil, give it a good spray everywhere. And like I said before, don't forget about the O-ring inside of here. Slippery. This O-ring right here. Give it a good little spritz. You can roll it around too, it's in there pretty loose. Just give it all a good heap of silicone. Just keep everything moving. Dry guns are when you start to have problems with your guns. Okay, so take your rag, just give everything a quick wipe over again. Okay, and that's pretty much all you do for the main body of the gun. I mean, you could open up your hop-up unit and take it out a little bit more if you wanted to. I mean, you could open the gun up itself a little bit more to your trigger mechanism and your hammer as well, but there's really no need to. This is where you're going to get the majority of your gunk buildup, and these are the main moving parts here. So for now, that's where we'll leave that. Next, you're going to want to clean your barrel, as sometimes there can be remnants of BBs, dirt from the field, etc. It happens, right? So for this, you're going to take your barrel. You're going to take your barrel cleaner. This one happens to be for a full-size rifle, and I would like to keep it that way, so I'm not going to snap it in half. So I've just taken these pieces of fabric here, cut them up into smaller strips. I'm going to feed them through the eyelet at the end of the cleaning rod, like so. Pull it through to the other side, keep it fairly even. And you're going to give this a little spritz of the silicone oil as well. Now, the thing about cleaning your barrel is that inside of there, at the top, if you can see that, it's not perfectly round at the top. That's your hop-up bucking. It's really important that you don't aggressively put the rod into the barrel, or you very well could disturb your hop-up bucking or possibly destroy it. So really carefully and very gently insert your rod into the hole. You probably feel a little bit of resistance when you get to the hop-up bucking. I wouldn't recommend putting your barrel cleaner all the way through. It basically ends at the end of the barrel anyways, so there's kind of no point other than risking damaging your hop-up and compromising your gun, and nobody wants to do that. Okay, so as you can see, not too much dirt on it. The guy that I purchased the gun from said he had only used it a handful of times, so I didn't expect there to be a whole lot of grease on it. A little bit of darkness. So I will run it through a couple more times, possibly once or twice. If you haven't cleaned your gun in a long time, or ever, you're probably going to have to do this, I don't know, maybe 10 times or so. I've had it happen before. Sometimes you just keep cleaning and cleaning and cleaning, and the thing never seems to get clean, so it is important to make sure that your barrel is nicely cleaned. Now, the other thing you're going to want to do is, if your spring looks like this, definitely give it a little bit of a clean. Most of the time it doesn't get very dirty, but it is a moving part, right? So you're going to want to keep it clean, but also keep it well lubricated. So if you got China grease on it like I do, just kind of give it quick little ring around the whole thing there. If you want to, give it a little spritz of silicone oil. Just kind of give it a little wipe down, same as the gun. And then you are good to go. So I will reassemble the gun here. Now, I'm not going to make you guys watch me clean the second gun, so this is where I'll end this. If you guys had any comments, questions, concerns, leave me a comment or send me an inbox. I'll be glad to help in anyways. And if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks, guys.